Introducing our speakers, architect Sangeeta Bais is an alumnus of the School of Planning and Architecture, New Delhi, and the National Institute of Technology, Raipur. She has a working experience in heritage conservation for over 24 years. She has worked with several national and international organizations. She established Dharohar in 2008, which is based in New Delhi. The firm specializes in heritage conservation with projects ranging from conservation, building conservation, adaptive reuse of heritage structures, heritage research project, and development of tourism infrastructure in historic and cultural sites. Dharohar is presently a leading firm in India working on many prestigious projects, including the Mahakal Corridor, Vice-Regal Lodge, Banaras Hindu University, and Orca.
So it is not about a particular project. As I discussed with Simra requested there will be some young architect professional who would like to join heritage conservation. So it is an overall overview of our projects which we are doing and our approaches which we are adopting nowadays for heritage conservation, which is evolved over the time period. So first of all, I would like to say happy World Heritage Day to everyone, and my sincere thanks to Architects Diary and Simran for organizing this event. So this presentation is on behalf of my team, Dharohar. It's not only me, it's a wide range of experts, and my team members work hard for this to whatever we are doing at the moment as the team of 3 architects who have done wonderful work. And this is the way I have organized the slide is to bring out the diversities in heritage conservation, an upcoming field which India is will see in coming time. So it is Dharohar is first we started with the heritage conservation work. Now we have diversified in different areas of the work related to the traditional knowledge system. And so the kind of work is underway at the moment, and mostly heritage conservation professionals are dealing with nowadays. They are, if we are working at the building level, actually no project happens in building level. It leads up to the looking at the contextual level. So there's we are dealing with forts and palaces like Bhatinda Fort, which where we have worked around 5 years back. Palace complexes, educational institution, like forts, generally we were finding as protected monuments and some are private. They have different vision for that. Palace complexes like Karoli City Palace were involved for a year for this project. And Leh Palace is a heritage monument. So when you're working on monument and a private property, the complete approach changed because some buildings are in use and some building not in use. Educational institution building, which we are dealing at the moment, that IIT Roorkee, James Thompson is building already in use is a director office. That PUSA Institute, 2 library and another entomology chemistry lab. When specifically I'm talking about the uses, that use pattern completely changed the building profile when it comes to the adaptive reuse. Other building like Vice-Regal Lodge, General Post Office, and Government Press Building. This is an all building-oriented project. They are bound to their own immediate context setting. Beyond that, nowadays heritage conservation professionals are involved. Like we are involved at the moment, like working for religious tourism. We started, Dharohar actually picked up from the rejuvenation of Ajmer Sharif, that Dargah, and Kala Devi Temple and Mahakal Corridor, which is recently completed. Street facade upgradation that comes out a wide range, and that is a very upcoming field where contribution of heritage professional need to be there with a sensible approach and looking at the sustainability and community requirement. So there's a dealing with heritage, community, modern needs, modern bazaars. So we need to integrate all those things together. Also, there's a very important role of heritage conservation professionals is preparing city vision plans. Now, most of the states are preparing their tourism master plan. They are making city vision plans so that every district can promote their arts, crafts, heritage in a sensible manner, integrating other factors. And site development programs, we are working in Leh Kargil district that comes from a different background and different cultural background also, and different geographical and topographical manner. So all varieties comes from different perspective, and generally we ourselves face problem when new projects come. What project to refer to make a base of that? We don't find any reference for that. So that's how things come up with the time. And now when heritage conservation is not only limited to the only building you are conserving, is also with the time you gain knowledge about the building material, construction technique, and its sustainability. Is very important. That knowledge system also help architects to build new in a sustainable manner, where integration of original building material like historical building material, traditional building material, and integrating modern conservation, modern materials, how efficiently we can design for the people incorporating modern needs. And it's of course preserving, you need to look at the existing site. You need to promote local material techniques so that your transportation cost is reduced. Energy efficiency responsiveness is required. Renewable energy resources we all need to see in our heritage conservation as well as modern conservation. Water conservation is, of course, is going to be a prime need, and we are dealing it on building level and site level. So all those things we are combining in different projects, and we have nowadays it's not only architects and conservation architects team, we have diversified experts who are working on heritage conservation projects of different nature. Besides that is also another variety, another diversity in heritage conservation. Of course, we need people who can do good research in various aspects of heritage like historical, material, construction, climatology, sustainability, user, and all those things like evolution pattern and influences, so that we can derive a very good conservation strategy for any heritage conservation project. That's how it makes them unique. We do a lot of material research, in-house research, and we do internship program, and that's how we made a small contribution. But of course, it is a very, very small when we talk about the in Indian context. We need it at various levels in India from different region, because any conservation research work cannot be at national level. It has to come from the regional and the local level, which the previous case study already have presented that. So that knowledge system has to be derived from different resources. And believe me, technical knowledge is same, but its application has to be come out from local understanding, and we need to create that technical database so that future generation can really adopt it in for the future conservation and future construction works. So that's how uh, this slide is not to showcase anything, it is to showcase this is a second series I'm talking about. Before that, we have more than that experts, mainly from internationally. So there are so many experts worldwide already there who are so willing to really get connected for because nowadays we are very good. We are in very positive side. We can be connected virtually. So it is very important to get connected and learn from everyone so that we can enhance our knowledge system. So diversity, if now I'm talking about a building level, diversity is in heritage conservation is, of course, start from the documentation, understanding, analysis, historical traditional construction techniques, and we are dealing from archaeology to modern sites. We are also working from preservation to restoration to adaptive reuse. There are three different versions of that. All these three require different expertise for that. Strictness to preserve every mineral and freedom to use new material. We often face these challenges working on archaeological site and working on building which are in use, like colonial stock, which are already under use by schools, institution, offices, and diversity of materials. I'm working in North India. If someone send me to South India, I will not be able to really work because I don't get that depth of material, that better understanding. I need at least 1 to 2 years to understand that context. And dealing different types of construction system, like the structure which Ritu Thomas and her team has shown, is different variety for me. So That's why we need to have regional stock all the places, not a single recipe for any kind of conservation work, any kind of construction work. It varies from site to site. And an overall sense, conservation professionals start dealing from mineral level to no limit actually. We reach to regional and national levels. So it is a starting to minerals. So that is a wide spectrum conservation architects has. This is a basic approach for any kind of conservation work, which already has explained. But nowadays, the whole scenario has been changing now because when you are doing any restoration work and adaptive reuse, structure stability is a major concern nowadays because you need to make the building working for again 50 years or 100 years. The buildings which were constructed in 1880s, 1900s, that was a time where different kind of building material system was used. So scientific investigations, understanding mineral structure stability becomes very important for the building. And we have been facing this every day on site. And every day new investigation is required from geotechnical to mineral to structural to understand compressive strength. You need to integrate a structural expert for the team. You need to have good MEP consultant with the team so that you can reach to a proper solution. So that's the whole thing need to be derived as per the project need. So that's how our work starts with all these approaches. We are to show the variety so that any one of you, young person, and they can get inspired, the variety they get is not only conservation, you're doing documentation, you are dealing with different perspective. We are working in Leh and Ladakh, mainly dealing with mud, stone, wood, and the extreme topographic situation. Very different site, difficult to reach, and sometimes difficult situation to live also. But some people enjoy, some people cannot manage, some people having the problem of acclimatization because of the high altitude. But yes, it is a good challenge in itself, but it is fun also. So this is a Shea Park. This is a 40-acre site. There are around 400 chortons constructed in different time periods, which shows a clear evolution of the chorton. That is a restoration which will start very soon. Asana Kharbo is a religious site. There's a shrine of a saint of 16th or 17th century that is completely. It is not a conservation. It is not restoration. It is a establishing the site in a way so people are coming. They have all the facilities, and the shrine is also get that importance, not in the very ruined state. Chumathang is another project which is under the monastery site. This is again wood conservation project, Manlakhar. And Chittankar is one of the prestigious project of the coming time, which has Central Asian linkages. And this is the way we understand Kargil. We understand Kargil from the Kargil War. But Kargil, it is not. Kargil is not Kargil War only. It has its own culture. It has its own evolution history, which is extremely significant. So we are trying to get into that perspective and trying to establish various historic site and tourist site and bringing them in a very good interpretation mode. So one example from here is a Kargil. This is a Chittankar. It is close to Kargil. It takes a 3-hour drive. And this is and it is on the hilltop. And this is a very significant fort in the history of Leh and Kargil. It is a precursor to Leh, and it is also set the language for several upcoming khars. Khars means fort. And previous that there's a Pasar Khar, and it also shows a very important history about Buddhism, Hinduism, and Islam. So when we see this site, it really tells a lot of things. And the ruler of this place had invited an artisan, Chandan. He was an artisan invited from Baltistan who have constructed this fort. Now vision is to reconstruct this fort to its original form and adaptive reuse it as a museum to showcase the Chittankar cultural diversity and history so that people are coming there, not coming only for biking, they're also coming for some knowledge and form some variety. So we have done extensive study of this from archaeological, historical, and material perspective. Fortunately, we got one image of, there are 3 images we got of this palace. Uh, so based on that and based on the archaeological evidences, we could establish the overall model. We established all the structural system. We have created all the wall system and also some relation from the Baltistan architecture. We have, and of course, we need to integrate modern facilities. Lift you can see, but lift will not cannot come at the moment because there is no maintenance. Companies are there, but it's a future vision is coming up. And previously, people didn't have that kind of system. You need to have universal access. It should be easily accessible. Simple steps were there, which nowadays we cannot use. So we need to establish a new approach method so that tourists can easily go to the under to the top of the fort. So that's how this is a 7 layer of the building at different, because on the hill we find 7 different level, and this is a 7 layer structure. And if you see this structure, it was originally 7 story tower, and this was the king's chamber also. And as per archival records, it is one of the revolving tower on the wood, constructed with the wood, and which could not get function because of the conflict between king and the craftsmen, and because king didn't want him to construct any more such forts. So there are some oral history and tradition. So he had removed important needles so that it cannot get revolved. So that story happened. But we did the study and we are just creating the interpretation panels for that to showcase that technology was already there. So that's how this restoration work will happen. And interior, we are creating as a Chitan interpretation center, depicting the story from prehistoric time period to the modern days. Another example of different scale and different variety is barrack in Redford. We got this building in this form and project was already awarded. This was the Adopt a Monument scheme done by Dalmia, and another consultant was hired for that. At some point, you are at a stage that you get some opportunity, you just want to work on that. And after the conceptualization, they realized it had to be conserved. I was called, and there's a different version of financial thing. It can be done in this much rupees, and we assess the building and the cost automatically reach to almost double, because when you are making an interpretation center, you are hosting 500 people daily. You need a roof stabilization. You need to make building fit. Building has because it was used as a barrack. So it has multiple division, alteration, severe damage, and the whole facade was changed. So we started working on that, and we prepared how building should look like and how it was, because several type of old material was used when different buildings were destroyed after 1857, and these material were used to construct this barrack. But this was not easily accepted by anyone because other barracks already constructed using this this color system. Still, we said, okay, just start it. See, if you don't want to use it, you don't want to keep your building exposed, we can fill it later on. You can whitewash. But when we have done that, everyone agreed for that. It was looking so stunning after that. So that's whole process started because the contractor which was hired, which was the interior contractor. So training them, bringing out the work, doing structural investigation, taking all the structural safety measures. Now grouting was a big challenge because there was a structural safety was required, and the time was COVID time was also there. So need to prepare all the grout on site. We could not import anything. And again, doing testing, how much wall has attained the strength. Unfortunately, we could really do good experimentation and could do the good grouting work with the team. And that's how building started transforming. And this how building looks like with multiple division and roofs were divided and building started looking. Now, this was a challenge for me. There's small T sections and stone panels were there. This is the place we had intervened in a different way. We had to provide reinforcement and connection with the walls, connect so that it can take the load and it doesn't vibrate while people are walking that. And that's how building was transformed with the time. And now it is an interpretation center of Redford. That's how a building look like. And it is one of the most visited site in Red Fort complex at the moment. Another example quickly I will go through is Maharajwada. I worked with Ujjain Smart City. Uh, and this is a project I had prepared the DPR, visualized it, and then it was tendered. And I visited after almost 1 year after the tendering was done and work started. And when I first saw the building, no one was thinking about it. It can be a very important heritage building. It doesn't have very common features of that time period, 1930s. So we don't. It is very important to create interest of the people and to show the significance, beauty-wise, aesthetic-wise. We had done this. All the investigations, small excavation and detailing, and we started preparing the how building would look like, what are the exposed brick features, where are the exposed stonework, how the interior looked like. And it was really gone like this is okay. No one visualized how building will look like. Okay, let's do, but that importance what not had come out, that visualization didn't come out in the people's mind. When we started removing the line wash, it started looking like the vada. This is a Maratha vada with exposed basalt stone, gray stone, red stone jalis, and building really had achieved its beauty. And this is one of the beautiful building, and everyone is just loving it. The combination it is coming out. So everything is now getting the final shape. So that's how reviving the aesthetic beauty of the buildings is also very important. And that aspect to understand, sometimes it's possible that you are not getting, you're getting aesthetic, but it is not feasible to keep in the present day. You need to work out the alternate solution because it is going to be converted into a hotel. So there are some restrictions are there, but we could achieve most of it. Interior will be complete new system. So that's how building has transformed, and all layers in working pretty well. Designs are now visible. People didn't believe it how it can be so much beautiful. Another this is the Mahakal Dwar, one of the surviving gateway of Mahakal complex city. So it is a combination of different material. There are several buildings and walls were constructed using old materials from the temples. And this is you can see on both the side their wall, which is in very bad condition. There's a small bridge, RCC bridge connecting both the sides. On right-hand side of the same building, which I have shown you, Maharajwada, other side is a police station. And it is with dense vegetation. You can see one of the tree here, one of the tree here, and it was proposed we should demolish the tree, you should cut the tree. And we opposed it, and we did the horticulture study, and it was come out, we cannot remove the tree, the tree will die. So we made changes in the design, and the tree, so tree can also survive, and uh, that structure can also survive. All the cleaning work has been done, walls were reconstructed, partially structurally strengthening was done. And that's how the structure was created so that tree can be survived. We had supported this tree for months by providing additional support. The complete root system was developed so that it can grow on other side. It can have a structural strength towards side. It doesn't get collapsed during the heavy rains. So it is one of the good place. Now people started using this lane, and it was executed by Ujjain's Smart City. And it is one of the important project of the cities project. Another role nowadays we are doing is using our knowledge, what we get, because when you do conservation, you learn a certain kind of research work and how to use that sensibly at this level of project. This is Ujjain Mahal corridor, where I was responsible for developing the art language and the complete sculptor working as per the knowledge system. So that's a Saptarishi Mandal, that's working all the Saptarishi and working out their stories. And the people are coming, they should understand those story, how to depict them. All that work has been done. This is a Nandi Dwar designed by us. It was designed considering the all my factors, which gives the entry to major Mahakal temple. This is a complete new structure. And The problem is when we entered, project already started and stonework was not coming out in pretty in shape. That's how we started working on that. We had worked with artisans for months, I think almost 2 years, and worked out all the details. It started from tracing the pattern, transferring to the stone, and bringing out each and every expression, all jewelry design, all hand expression, how should be the pose, what is a specific detail to that devta, all those things were done. And that's how the complete model was developed. And it is a one example, the complete elephant panel, which is leading towards temples. So designing and working with artisans also not easy. We say artisans are good, but nowadays the kind of work artisans are getting is not this what we are asking to them. They want all the elephant to same, all the panels. No, they will not be same. It is a procession. They are not doing parade. So convincing them to different thing, that is also difficult. First, he made all the elephants going away from the Mahakal. Then we force them, no, it has to go towards Mahakal. So that's kind of a struggle, and that it's okay. That is a job, and we need to really work out together so that they are also happy. They are understanding sequentially and working for this. Most biggest challenge for us as a conservation professional, this is one of the biggest Shiv Vivaha panel. This is 100-feet panel without any break, depicting the story of Shiva. Procession is starting from Kailash to Parvati Mahal, and Bharat is going back to the Kailash. So that's how continuous story was created. And now, after that, it depicted on the stone, depicting each and every story and each character which was presented in Shiva Vivaha, and we are getting from different Purans, different mythological resources. Another thing, this is a 108 stamp depicting different dance postures and creating an avenue for the Mahakal temple complex and bringing out a specific expression of the dance. Postures are right. And then biggest challenge was is how to create a lamppost for that, which is not coming in the typical cast iron member. So how to connect it, and it looks same from every place because you're getting viewpoint from everywhere. So how to symbolically present that. So that's how this element was designed, and the first several sampling process was done. And ultimately it looks stunning at the moment. Like community involvement program, this is a restoration of Nizam Gate, Dargah Ajmer Sharif, where we did the restoration project. This is one of the project is very simple, but it's time consuming. It's in convincing the people how building can look like. And this is the last addition, historically, from historical timeline to the complex. And with the time, because all these complexes are cultural places and people are culturally very associated. We as a conservation architect see the building, its beauty. The people who are coming, they're coming is Garib Nawaz, the Ajmer Sharif, Dargah. So their association on that. So telling the people, no, it is a historical building, bring it to that, remove this brochure, it's okay. It took time. Then convincing them to at least start replacing the color, bring the beauty back. And after this effort, they have done one cleaning by themselves of Abgari mosque, and they could reveal the historical glaze style patterns. And I was super happy. And they themselves telling me, "Ma'am, success, we will understood that it is not about beauty. Adding layers and layers and layers is also not good for the building material. Uh, your core structure, it hold that dampness, is create algae, vegetation, lesion. So it really also develop a deteriorate, it's accelerate the deterioration process. So that's how understanding need to be built with the local community who are in charge for these properties. So that's how my presentation was. I hope you enjoyed it. So I stop
Thank
sharing.
you so much, ma'am. The presentation was really inspiring. And the way you showed us that heritage conservation is not just about one aspect, but it has a really wide spectrum to it. So it was really insightful to know all of those things. And I have visited the Mahakal corridor, and I was literally mesmerized by the way, by the structure and the whole campus that it is. And I'm so glad that I could talk to you today about this. I could hear you tell me about that project. So it was really inspiring.